So this Virgo full moon really helps us look into whatever it is that is in our hands and how we can actually switch what's in our hands to look into the details to be able to work with them. Now, there's many other things Virgo brings, by the way. Virgo is the sign of our health and wholeness and healing. Virgo is the healer. Virgo is selfless service. So, in terms of our own health and healing, if your attention is being called to navigating and bringing new changes or releasing, because the full moons are all about release. Any full moon is about release in general. So what we're releasing is anything that is toxic for our health and our wellness overall in general. We are releasing that now, or we need to look into releasing that now, because if we don't, then the Uranus can cause or push us to release that. Anything that is not serving us in terms of health and wellness. Another thing Virgo really brings is as we rearrange and look at the nitty-gritty and rearrange the things that help us not only bring our health in order, but things like going really inward and meditating. And I'll explain why. There's many things going on in this full moon, why meditation comes up. I mean, it's always the greatest thing to do, but there's a reason why meditation comes up so powerfully for this full moon, because it is linked to Virgo, the sign of Virgo. It is the holistic wellness aspect in the mind, but we also have a Mars-Pluto combination, which may cause, again, fear and anxiety, so we need that meditation piece to help us with that. Another thing that Virgo brings is a connection with our higher selves. So Virgo is the virgin, it's the divine feminine. It brings us, it really ushers or pushes our connection with our higher self. So this is a great time to have downloads that help us connect with our higher self. And especially because the full moon is trine Uranus. Uranus brings in the energy of quick, sudden downloads, the light bulb effect, that the energies and the downloads that come through, the lightning, oh yeah, I knew it. That kind of realization that comes through. So this full moon, which is trine Uranus, and because the moon is full, it's anyway shining a lot of light on that aspect, allows us to bring in a lot of inspiration and any intuition and any kind of downloads that are flowing through. Our connection with our higher self is going to be pretty potent if you take advantage of it, and which is why I'm coming back to the meditation, or whatever is your way of meditating, where you spend time with yourself, divinating and looking and making a list of all the practical changes you want to bring in your life, especially with health and wellness. But not just that. There is also, all of this is happening. There are many shifts happening. The Mars-Pluto transition is happening in the sign of Taurus. So there is also very real, tangible changes that are happening. Now that we have realized what it is that isn't serving us, with all of these realizations that we have been going through in the past few moons, we are now at a point where we're like, okay, so now that I know what's not working, and even though I'm not necessarily very sure about what is coming, at least I know what I need to release. And with whatever I have, whatever information I have, I need to make shifts into my life. So letting go of physical objects, literally. Look into your room, look at your house, look at what is not serving you. Every object in your house has an energy that reflects back into us. All of that clutter affects us in whatever way it does. This is a great time to look into releasing that and feng shuing. Because it's a Virgo moon and because the Mars-Pluto conjunction is in Taurus, we're looking at physical stuff. If you're looking into moving, or buying a new place. So again, it's physical, Taurus, right? So after a lot of this emotional stuff going on, we're now looking into physical, tangible, real stuff, and how that has reflected our emotions and how that's going to affect us. So that's this energy that the Virgo full moon is really working in. But now let me talk about all of the other aspects that are going on, because there is a big bang with emotional stuff going on as well. So just about today, Mars and Pluto are entering into an alignment in Taurus. Now, Mars and Pluto are an extremely powerful combination, you know, and I'll explain why. So, Pluto always brings giant transformation, giant transformation, big transformations, going very deep and completely transforming to the core. And Mars just gives it more energy. So whatever it is that's transforming in your life right now, Mars is going to target that. So look into what is it that is transitioning for you, what is transforming for you. You are really going to as you come into your own, look into what relationships, what partnerships, what is really serving you, where you're spending your time, what is not serving you. And if you're not looking into it, then this Pluto Mars combination is going to shove it in your face and make sure you look at it. So, which is why you're better off just really just flowing with that, right? So that is a very important piece. And then we have the full moon, which is quincunxing Saturn, which means that there is an adjustment that needs to come in our duties and our responsibilities, and the way we look at our duties and the responsibilities, right? So now let me throw a little more light on that. So we have been in a Saturn Uranus square. This has been a big theme, in of the year even. And what Saturn and Uranus always bring is this contrast between responsibility and independence. Because Saturn is the disciplinarian. It talks about what we need to do, or what our responsibilities are. And Uranus is like, okay, enough of all of that. And we're seeing that overall in the political arena, where all of these structures and systems that we are supposed to follow and how we're breaking free of it. But at the same time, breaking free of it to what extent? Are we completely getting ourselves out of any structure? And if you're, especially for water signs, the energy of water is that water, if it's contained in a structure, then it serves. Otherwise, it spills all over. So there is, and when I'm talking about water, I'm talking also about the energy of our emotions. So there has to be a balance that we need to come midway. After Aquarius brought in all of that independence energy with all of its 6 planets, now we really need to come into a midway that, okay, maybe the old structures were not working for me. What are the new structures that I'm building with this Virgo full moon? What is it that I'm bringing into creation? So because the old structures are no longer working for me, now I'm just kind of floating. So now where do I need to create that new structure around me? Now, Uranus, because it brings so much creative inspiration, it's a great time to kind of bring that in. Not only that, we have Venus in the mix. So Venus, again, has been hanging around during the moon time. And I love that, because Venus is our artistic ability. Venus is our creation. And Uranus brings in the inspiration to create. And Venus gives us our highlights things we love. So we're creating around the things we love, using a new structure, or we are creating that new structure for ourselves, in order to, and these changes that we're making are permanent because Saturn is in the mix, and they do incur responsibility. With every decision that we take, it has cause and effect. And as such, there is responsibility, which is the law of karma. Yes, you have free will. Yes, you can do anything you want. But with the things you do, there is going to be an effect, and you are responsible for that effect. And as long as you're okay with that, again, that is not meant to bring fear in your life, like the old paradigms of Saturn. This is not like you're only supposed to do it that way, because it benefits certain old people and structures. That's not what we're saying. But this is freedom to create your own structure after you have broken down the old structures that were created for you by the outside world. So that you can now finally move ahead with what it is that you want to bring in, what it is that you want to create, what it is that is inspiring you with the energy of Uranus, what it is that you love with the energy of Venus. And so with Venus in the mix again, there is, of course, there's a lot of candidness with the Mars Pluto combination and Venus in the mix. You're being very honest about your feelings. You're being very, very candid about what you want to bring in, expressing yourselves. And of course, there is an element of romance in there, in terms of relationships in there whenever Venus comes into play. So being candid with your expression in relationships, which ones are serving you, which ones aren't. What are two people bringing into a relationship? Because it always has to be an effort from both sides for it to be equal and to be balanced and for it to feel fair. So is that happening? And if that is not happening, this is a great time to have a candid conversation and not fear, not having it, because what Pluto does is it is a very Scorpionistic energy. So it's going to bring everything in the light anyway, regardless of whether you want to bring it to the light or not. So you're better off having that candid conversation. As the clarity comes to you, you're better off bringing in that clarity and sharing it with everyone else. And also, with this piece is the inspiration and creation and art and the very Venusian energy of art and music and also the real estate piece as well. So we now also have a couple of fixed stars. We have the Ursa Major in the mix in this full moon. So this gives a very Ursa Major brings in a little bit of self-controlled, suspicious, mistrustful type of energy. It's very patient, but has a bit of an uneasy spirit. And if it is aroused, then it can be revengeful. And then with the Mars-Pluto mix, you want to be mindful of how you express. Yes, you want things to come out into the open, but how are you expressing them? You don't want to. Unless you really want to release something or someone from your life, you don't want to kind of burn your bridges. So be mindful, because it may just be a phase, and if it is just a phase, then you want to be mindful of it. So realizations that are internal are going to become more tangible and external thanks to these two elements, thanks to the Mars and Pluto, which brings you the strength to go forward and gung-ho with whatever. And this has been brewing up for a while internally. Now it's time to kind of bring it out in the external, right? And more tangible things, which is objects, physical objects, whether it's redecorating or moving or just kind of purging anything that you do not love in your environment. When you look around you, like, everything has to be something that feeds you. The environment needs to feed you, not the other way around. Like, does it feed you? Does it, there's feng shui. I do feng shui consultations and house clearings if anyone's interested. But yes, you can of course do that even by yourself and clearing, any kind of clearing. It's so important. But because this is the full moon leading into Mahashivratri, this is also not just about clearing, but this is about the manifestation. And the law of manifestation always talks about clarity. And the Virgo full moon allows you to go into the nitty-gritty details that bring you clarity, because the universe is responding to your commands. And for anyone that knows anything about manifestation, you all know that the clearer we are, the more it can manifest. And yes, even though we're moving in the unknown, there are certain things we're still clear about. Work with the things you're clear about. Work with the list that you want to make that's bringing you clarity already, right? Work with what is coming in for you already. And I love making lists on full moon, and I say this again and again, but really writing it down brings things from your unconscious out into your conscious, and really allows it to kind of create form. And when our conscious mind sees that form, it makes that impact into us. And then rereading it, maybe even reading it out loud. This is what I'm releasing from my life right now. And then tearing it apart and then seeing it go, and physically cleaning up and releasing objects that do not serve you. I have to say that the Saturn Aquarius theme can create it can create some challenges. It brings a lot of self-awareness, but at the same time, there is like an anticipation of something that's about to happen. You are The changes that are happening, you might find them challenging to cope with, because again, no change is easy to cope with. It is a change when you're going, you're releasing what you've known, even though it was not right for you, it has felt like a friend to you, and you're releasing that. And now you're going into the unknown, and that brings change, in trying to be responsible, and loyal, and at the same time also freeing yourself from things that have been a constant battle is not an easy thing to do at all. That's where we need a lot of flexibility. We need a lot of cooperation, a lot of compromise, and you know, but then the good thing is that Uranus can also bring unexpected opportunities. All of a sudden there are breakthroughs. You have your breakthrough moments, and usually breakthroughs tend to be after breakdowns, and I think Nanette knows all about breakdowns after breakthroughs from breakdowns. She is an expert with working with that energy. So at this point in time, I am going to hand this over to Nanette and talk. She beautifully channels the energies that are around us, and I'll just let her do her thing.
I know when you were saying the list, you should have seen. I'll tell you later. You should have seen the joke they were playing. This is so funny because we do this often on my channel, and I always go first with the energies. So it's weird being the other way around than me, and I always see how you feel when I'm doing it. But I had mine already written out.
Great.
So my energy for the collective is not quite as detailed as yours, but the feeling, the energy feels like excitement. It feels like excitement, a lot of excitement. And this is what I'm getting with this. Two things: feel the fear and do it anyway, and be ready for surprises. And here's the thing, I don't feel like it's one or the other. I feel like it's both, like both for everyone. Anyone that really falls it. I know, some people don't like to fall into the energy. I like the energy. I like using the portal energy. So prepare. And I got prepare yourself and your environment. And I don't even know how to explain that, because how do you prepare for surprises? But you know what you want to manifest. You know what you've been trying to manifest or working on. I won't say trying, but working on. And so what you're working towards. So prepare yourself and surrender. I guess I'm looking up because I get that all the time for myself. It took a long time to learn. Surrender is a step thing. I think it's really a step thing. And so each time you learn to surrender a little more until you really surrender. And a lot of time that's a tower moment. But it's funny, you were talking about healing, and I want to tell you, because I do this all the time when we do our videos on my channel, and I don't publish it. But I pull cards, and 3 cards flew out today for this event, and it was the Lunar Queen. I don't know if you can see that, and Spirit of Isis.
Ooh.
And Miracle of Isis. And all of these are about healing and surrender. They're about healing and surrender. And so I did get that big time. Healing is a big thing right now. Healing. So I don't think just physical. I think, a lot of people have done a lot of inner work. A lot of people, I feel like in the past year, have gone through a dark night of the soul. And so when you get through that, you tend to want to get up and jump and run. And it's more helpful for you to rest a little bit longer, because you're integrating that energy. And integration is a very energetic thing. This portal is going to help you. It's probably going to help you integrate it faster, because it just feels jumpy. It feels exciting jumpy, not bad jumpy, but it just feels jumpy. It feels like, let's go. So be prepared, and good God, try not to be afraid. I know it's hard when a lot of things come at you that you've been wanting, and you're like, well, hold on, don't do that. Jump. That's what they're saying. Jump, go forward and do what you need to do, because, a lot of times this is what you've been asking for. Don't self-sabotage, And that's what I got. That was fun.
I love it. No, you
Yeah,
know
I like
what I love about this is that it is so true that anytime with anything that's completely new, if we are really moving paradigms and shifting into a new frequency and a new energy, and it's something we're completely unfamiliar with and we haven't been there, it's when it actually comes to us, it feels so unfamiliar that we're almost like, is this even good for me? Am I ready for it? Well, yes, you've been asking for it for the longest time, and it's finally here. So it's time to do it. Because if you don't take action, that ship's gonna sail. And so that
and that's part of the surrender. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
that is part of the surrender, because really what manifestation is, and really when the universe brings things to us, is when we are at the new frequency of where we haven't been and what we're not used to. So when we are comfortable with aligning with and being with that new frequency and really accepting the new frequency is when we become that. And it's the only way to transform.
Mm.
Right. And then I love what you spoke about healing, because Virgo is all about, really all about healing. Like Virgo is your herbs, your essential oils, your
Mm.
your divine feminine, your Magdalene. All of it is Virgo. And we are at the completion of that energy of healing that's been happening for us since the last couple of months, and we're finally seeing light there, and we've had help there. We've had divine help. We've had divine intervention. Uranus, in the mix, has been bringing the lightning that split us open to in every way, shape, and form. It splits you open.